Hello. Trading has closed on April 4th, 2022. Let's start with our disclaimer. We always do. It's how I plan to trade my account tomorrow, April 5th. Remember, I can be wrong. Any trade you make should be at your own risk. We had a few calls. Look for the pattern with the early high, which is this. Tomorrow should have the early low. We had a target 45.10.66. We said that Friday's pattern I thought was negative and we'd see this, but if we gapped up smartly, I'd do a 180, figured there was likely to be in a third wave higher of some degree, and instead of being negative, it could be very positive. Well, we didn't gap up smartly, so the call has to count as a miss. I have said a number of times if you gap and promptly move outside the range, you gap and promptly move up smartly, it's pretty much equivalent to a gap. But even though I've said it before, I didn't say it over the weekend, so I just have to count this as a miss. This target, 45.10.66, gets added to the list. Should print at some time. Nothing says that time has to be soon. We have a new target from today's pattern, 45.62.82. Unless we gap up smartly or gap in either direction and move up smartly, that's favored to print tomorrow. MEJT said this move up was false, said this drop was false. They've already retraced. We got this target. There was a buy signal in the afternoon, and that certainly worked. Well, we've held the support here. Are we going to keep going up? That's the question. Well, here's our count. We're now over these moving averages. We had this drop. We're starting to come back up. Can't quarrel with that. And if that's 1, 2, 3, maybe we're starting another wave up. There's the problem I have with it. We have a 1 and a 2. This should be in the third wave. So I have what I called 1. I have what I call 2. Then you have the action from Friday afternoon and today. And if this is a third wave, if it is, should count as a 5-wave structure. Well, how do you count that as a 5-wave structure? I mean, you got this and this. This is an overlapping, something that looks like, this is not an impulse. That's an overlapping pattern. So if we're in a third wave up, how do you count it? Maybe there's something I'm missing. That's always possible. Right now, this doesn't look like the idea of a third wave up is going to work. And that increases the chances we'll see 45.62.82 tomorrow. I'm certainly willing to admit I can be wrong on this because when it's early in the count you can get confused, but I just don't see this as an impulse. Doesn't make me right. Tuesday's pattern has the early low. We could gap up. Typically it's a rally day with a high in the final hour. If it's weak, more weakness should follow in subsequent days. There's a lower MEJT target unless we gap up smartly or gap down and move up. Gap in either direction and move up smartly. It's favored to print. I can't find a way to count today's action as part of an impulse, so the idea that it could be in the wave 3 multiple degrees seems to have failed. Again, that could change and I could be wrong. I just don't see how to do it. So we look for the pattern with the early low. It's usually a strong day, but if it's weak, more weakness follows. We have stopped right at the prior consolidation. So this rally so far hasn't done anything but retrace. We have a lower target for tomorrow. We don't move up smartly early by gapping ideally. That's my call, and we still have this 451066, which should print at some time. Doesn't have to be tomorrow. Tomorrow has the early low, and that's today's call.